Hello everyone, and welcome to the very special edition of World of Darkness news, as usual on Thursdays. This time live from Paradox offices in Stockholm with my special guest. Can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Hello, everybody. I'm Sean Greaney. I'm the brand manager for World of Darkness, and this is the first time I'm coming on World of Darkness News live.
You were coming live beforehand, but not from the studio.
All right.
It was like you were connecting through the cameras, but
2,000 years of pandemic.
yeah.
It's collapsing everything on itself.
Exactly. But anyway, we are joining you together today for a very special occasion, very special reason. Vampire Jam has been concluded after really awesome winter holidays that we had of playing 80 games, over 80 games that were submitted to the Jam. And their choice was vast and very, very difficult. It wasn't easy for us to pick a winner or the top three places. But we've made our decision and we're going to announce it today. Before that, I would like to ask you, Sean, what do you think about Vampire Jam initiative in general?
I was totally blown away. I mean, we knew that we had a huge UGC community out there. We know that there's an amazing amount of creativity, that there's hundreds and thousands of hours going into Storyteller's Vault, but we couldn't in any way anticipate that we would have over 80 submissions to Vampire Jam. And I mean, we really believe in the community, but the quality level blew me away. I was not ready for this. I mean, we're coming to you in February because, yes, 80 something games,
Yeah.
but also we had a lot to work through there, and it was well worth it. Had a great time.
Yeah, and there's so much inspiration, to be drawn because ultimately we saw not only people who had some video game development experience that invested their time into making these games, but also people with completely no experience that started from the get-go knowing nothing and made a game in a month. Were you aware before all of that that you can make games like this in the duration of 30 days?
Absolutely not.
Right?
I think it's going to put a little bit more pressure on devs over here.
Just a little bit. That's for sure. But yeah, when it comes to any, maybe we can discuss it a little bit more later after we announce the winners. But just very overall, any takeaways that you wanna draw from this Vampire Jam and the amazing community activity that happened throughout of it?
I think it was amazing to see the kind of narratives that people could pick up and build in such a short time and actually execute on, and that people were able to bring so much of V5's essence into that. And what really impressed me were some of the less traditional or maybe less associated genres with World of Darkness, that people were able to build really compelling games that gave you the experience of Vampire the Masquerade in a genre that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. Absolutely. And when it comes to the general jury squad of people who were playing these games and checking out the games, it was, of course, Sean, myself, but also Karim, our brand editor, Jason Carl, our brand marketing manager, which you probably know very well, Thomas, who is our art director, as well as Dane, who is our business developer. She also looked at the games, and of course, Hadi, our community ambassador, played all through all of your games and also casted her votes. So this is the background that we have when it comes to the jury panel. And
So to answer your question, Alfredo Cavatelli, yes, Jason Carl had to play the game.
yes, Jason had to play the games. And he was very happy to do so, and he was also super excited about the titles. So before we will go to announcing the winners, what were your criteria of judging the top games for you?
For me, the criteria were the overall experience. Did I feel like I was in the World of Darkness? Was this a true experience of Vampire the Masquerade? And taking that as the overall frame into every different genre. And I think that's important because different genres have different abilities to translate that experience. So that was my thinking. You guys had an extremely scientific Excel spreadsheet. I was impressed.
Yes.
So it helped me set the frame.
Yes, we did have a very extensive Excel sheet in which we were commenting on all of the possible criteria that we could have for each of the game, and the document was big. I think it was very difficult to pick the winners for sure, but there was no exact push on particular genre, just to make it clear. I feel like text-based games had the equal chance of winning this than
Absolutely.
games with graphics and games with like some more extensive coding behind it. It was mostly about which games delivered, in our opinion, the best and the most innovative in some ways for the Darkness experience. So yeah, that's what we, I think, chose, and we can start picking, showing our results. What do you think?
Should we get the preamble for a little bit longer?
You can do the drum rolls for sure. All right. So the third place goes to, but we are not going to go to the next slide just yet. It was super difficult to decide on the third place.
Actually, it was really hard to pick the third place. Yeah. We talked a lot about this.
Yes, we had so many candidates for the third place, and I can spoil already. The third place is a visual novel. So there was a very big competition in the land of visual novels in general.
Extremely high quality bar.
Yeah. So what did you take in general from playing all visual novels from the jam? What was your taking like?
One thing I really liked with a lot of the visual novels was they really got at the violence of the politics in Vampire the Masquerade. I really gave that experience. And Martina and I have played less Vampire together than you'd expect, but we don't tend to play to type. And one thing I enjoy most is betraying everybody in the most complicated way. So the visual novels that allowed me to betray people, they had a special place in my heart.
I see. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about the visual novels that we liked the most, because there are more of them. But for the third place of Vampire Jam, please welcome our pick, Waning Crescent by Gaia, Katie, Very, Moira, and Red Robotics, who made the music. Congratulations. Do you want to say something about Waning Crescent?
First of all, Red Robotics should get an extra round of applause because I love the music here.
It's really good music, right? It's amazing.
And I was able to betray somebody here, which I really enjoyed.
Yes, absolutely. So I don't want to spoil the game too much for those of people who didn't play it, but there are some super interesting characters in there. Who was your favorite from the two main secondary characters?
I liked the disaffected Dådyrdotter.
The disaffected Dådyrdotter, yeah. I think so too, but then again, it's very obvious for me because I have a very soft spot for long-haired dead boys. So it's like like it's quite clear for me that he was my favorite. But then again, the game is shown from the perspective that we absolutely loved when it comes to the whole V5 approach of here's a Finnblad, he's being taken in front of Camarilla's court, there's branding, there's all of this vampire politics going on. All while the same, you have this very deep emotional experience of the connection of protagonists in between these two characters.
I think it really nailed the visual language as well, that sort of inertia of old Central European cities as well. I really got that feeling, and obviously I'm not from one of those, but you're from something closer to that. So you can speak to that better than I can, but it really made me feel like Vienna, those kinds of places have that feel.
Have you been to Budapest ever?
I have not.
You have never been to Budapest. So I've never been to Budapest. I mean, I've been to Budapest, but I've never actually sightseen Budapest. I went through it. I was going to Bulgaria, I think, and I just drove through it. And it always gave me that vibe of a super interesting city that I only saw through the basically bus windows. And I really wanted to immerse myself deeper into it. And what the game like gave me, I think it was that immerse moment that I really felt like it was settled in the particular city and it had this vibe of it. So,
and I think that's often very important for any Vampire the Masquerade experience, that the city takes on a level of character in the game, and that's what I got from Waning Crescent.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that is our pick for the third place. Again, it was very difficult to pick one of these games, but now we are going to announce the second place, which Sean actually, like we need to admit, for Sean, this is his favorite game. So we had a very, very brutal voting for the first place and which game is going to win. And Sean unfortunately lost the vote.
I'm not entirely sure that democracy is a great idea for our team.
Well, it's working so far, but maybe the rights are going to be stripped after this Vampire Jam.
Well, you guys tell us. Once we've announced everything, we can see what the democratic vote of the community is here.
Yes, we are going to definitely ask the community if you agree with our votes. So the second place goes to favorite game of our brand manager, Sean Greaney, which is Praxis by Urban Magi, or Magi. Magi, I think Magi is the... Right.
Urban Magi?
Urban Magi, Urban Magi,
Magi?
Magi.
I'm going with Magi.
Probably Magi. So Praxis is such a good mix of genres that fits Vampire the Masquerade in a really awesome way. So how many hours of Praxis have you played?
Seriously, a good 10.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I really enjoy Praxis, and this is what I mean when this is the kind of game for me that Vampire the Masquerade really fits.
Mm-hmm.
And I want more games like this in World of Darkness. I think that getting that macro level and getting the experience of climbing the ladder and also communicating the story on that journey, they really pulled it off here. And the cast of characters that can join your coterie, the quests as they are.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this. I'm going to play more.
Obviously. So Praxis is a game which just has so much to it, and developed by a single developer who wrote all of these events that happen throughout the game, and there's so much going on. And after you get a hold of it, and after you get your coterie set up, and you start to be a little bit more versatile in the game and what the things that you can do, you can really get the satisfaction of, hey, I'm gaining power, I am becoming more powerful and claiming the city for myself, which is a super cool experience. Speaking of taking the city for yourself, how many times have you claimed Praxis?
I have claimed Praxis 3 times.
3 times, nice.
And I have to say they had an advantage because they did let me, I don't know how much we're spoiling here, but you can have a Tzimisce in your coterie here. So that's extra points for me.
You can have Salubri in your coterie as well.
That's not extra points for me.
Oh, wow. Wow, the shade. Yeah, no, definitely. I loved Praxis, loved my Salubri. I specifically loved playing, actually, as a main character, I picked Tremere a lot.
I always chose Toreador.
Really?
I don't know if something's happening with my identity here.
I think something is happening with my identity if I'm picking Tremere.
Yeah,
so.
no, bad things.
Bad things.
Pandemic.
Horrible things. So yeah, the second place goes to Praxis. That was a very tough battle, and we really voted a lot and had a lot of discussions.
And by voted, Martina means yelled.
Yelled at each other a lot, and so again, I think these three first places are very much close together, so it was a very tight battle. And now the first place. Oh, I pumped my microphone. I'm sorry, I destroyed this. The first place goes to, I wonder if the chat is going to guess. I'm going to wait a bit. I know that if you're watching this on YouTube, there's not going to be this much of attention in there, maybe. But if you are watching us on Twitch right now, I really wonder what is. We have some guests.
I like the.
We're going to talk about some of these games for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So the first place goes to Heartless Lullaby. Congratulations, huge congratulations for this amazing submission that we are absolutely blown away by from Entalto. 8 people from Spain, 8 very young people from Spain, took their time together in 1 month, in 30 days, to create a 1 hour and a half experience of a CRPG game seen from the perspective of 2 characters, full-blown dialogues, choices, interaction, all of these things. It just if anyone would tell me at the very beginning of the jam, hey, Outstar, we want to do a CRPG for this in 30 days, I would tell them, don't do it. You're not going to finish it.
There's no way you're going to pull off an isometric CRPG in this amount of time.
There's just no way. And these amazing young folks were able to do that, and we are just really blown away. So what do you think about Heartless Lullaby?
I mean, the first thing that hits you with Heartless Lullaby is the visual style.
Mm-hmm.
It builds somewhat on what we've seen in Vampire the Masquerade in different forms, but it's so unique.
Yeah.
And it really works. It really communicates it well, I feel. The other big wow moment for me was changing protagonists mid-story, and it's like a little bit of a discombobulation when you realize what happened. You're like, oh wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And also taking on 2 different roles in that way, right?
And I love the fact, how you can actually see World of Vampire the Masquerade from the perspective of a mortal.
Yeah.
And the very beginning of the game, I think, is just tutorial. It's a guide on how to do great game introductions. You have the bouncer situation, which is completely casual, completely normal, and then you get invitation to this deeper secret world by this woman with those very red hair that is walking past you. And I feel like this beginning, for me, that was like just game design 101 and how you should do introductions to the genre, how you should do like put people in this world and get them immersed immediately and get them hooked. Because very often it's like you start playing the game and there's no hook to follow immediately. You start to slowly get to know characters, locations, and everything, and you slowly start to get a grip on this. But this game has a hook. From the very beginning, you want to get to know that woman. And yeah, I loved a lot of things about Heartless Lullaby. I think what I like the most is, sure, it does start from the perspective of this is very similar to Disco Elysium, but it doesn't really go there, and it goes in a different direction. So it's not really a Disco Elysium game, which might seem from the very beginning and from the screenshots, people are very much comparing this game to Disco, and it does feel inspired at first, but then I think it goes with the mechanics and with some things that you can do in the game a little bit different, in a little bit different
I would
way.
say it's definitely inspired, but like any inspired product, it builds on and does something new and interesting, and that's how it stands out.
Yeah, and also, if you take an inspiration like that, you better pull it off really well, because that's definitely very big shoes to fill, and you don't want to be compared to a game like Disco without actually pulling some work to make sure that the game has the quality which can compare. And I feel like these devs really worked very well with that, and they took it into their own turn, their own twist, which resulted in something really cool.
Absolutely, and you're right that in medias res beginning to the game, you're in a situation that most people can recognize, and then you're given a task without it being like, go and get 7 rat pelts. It's like, I got to find out who that woman is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And stop my friend from dying. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
And the winner, of course, is going to receive a chance to release as a free game on Steam as a part of the World of Darkness franchise. So a lot more people are going to dwell deeper into Vampire the Masquerade using Heartless Lullaby. I feel like that was also definitely one of our criteria for picking the games here. We wanted the games which are at one point, of course, showing Vampire the Masquerade in the way that we fans really feel Vampire the Masquerade should feel like, but also that they are very proper as the introductory experience. So you don't have to have any pre-existent knowledge to know what's going on in the game, right?
Exactly.
And Heartless Lullaby really did it very well. But there were a lot of other games which I think also tick these boxes and would deserve, a lot of praise as well. For me, I think one of the games that we are going to also post like news post after this on our main website, which is going to have some more honorable mentions. But one of the games that I feel also did this introductory thing very well was Vampire the Masquerade Reflections. I feel like it was really good for people that don't know Vampire the Masquerade just yet and wants to get involved in it deeper. But yeah, I had a lot of other favorites. What were some of yours?
I played everything, but I really enjoyed some of the games that took a really tight focus, and they did that in different ways. But for example, I think Autumn People is one of those games where it really sticks out visually in a game jam like this. But what was special for me there was that it is such a common experience in the tabletop game, right? Like, we've got to get out of this place, and all the odds are against us. How's this going to go?
Yeah.
And I love the dialogue at the start of that game, and I mean, anybody who's seen your sizzle reel, and anybody who's played that game will be blown away by the way that they handled the Second Inquisition animation. They beautiful.
When I played this game for the first time, I immediately ran to Karim and I showed him the Second Inquisition and how it looks in the game, and I was like, "This is how our SI should look like one day."
It's amazing. It's like
it's amazing.
SWAT team meets Knight Templar. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and initially I thought that maybe they just took this asset from somewhere. Like it's impossible to model something so cool in such a short time, but no, it was all handmade by the developer, and
Mm.
I was so impressed. It was amazing. So yeah, that game definitely. I feel like for me there was a lot of games which had completely different take, which I didn't expect. For example, comedy, right?
Yeah.
Comedy is not something that we expect for Vampire the Masquerade, but we did play Prince of Nothing on the stream, and our audience was just blown away, and everyone was screaming at us that we should make this game canon because it's so funny.
I'm watching the chat.
Yeah.
The lobbying continues.
Yes, the lobbying for Prince of Nothing continues, and we absolutely loved Prince of Nothing. But it was not the only game which took this twist of trying to make something a little bit more lighthearted, but set in this very dark world. For example, Hotel at the Night at the Hotel La Sombra was also a game like that, which took this to the new level of humor and trying to incorporate it in a completely different theme, and that was also great. And yeah, one of my favorites actually that didn't make it to the top, mostly because I feel it was just not very accessible from the very beginning, as there was no tutorial and you had to make up everything on your own, was the Game of Elders, the card game. It was, I think, like it was one of the cooler games when it comes to actual gameplay and the mechanics involved in it. Once you get a grip on it, I really recommend everyone to try it out and try to crack it because we had a lot of people from our jury playing it and just asking me, hey, how do you play this? We don't know what to do with it. And we've been reaching out to developers a lot as well, because there were some games which Heartless Lullaby actually was one of these games from which I bounced at from first because it initially immersed me, but I got stuck in some moment. And I reached out to developers and I was like, hey, I don't know what to do in there. And there was more games like this. So huge thanks to very, very patient developers that received my queries and answered. Prodigal developers, thank you so much. To Descent developers also, because I was a horrible player that couldn't fight the monsters. But yeah, there are so many good games.
Well, I mean, I'd like to thank people who put out walkthroughs as well, because I will admit, I really enjoyed Chantry Trials. Because it gives you this really tight experience. It's an interesting take. I got the moon part, but I did have to watch a walkthrough to get through one of the trials.
But it's actually easier than the moon part for me. It was easier, like later on.
I'm more metaphorical and abstract.
I get you. No, I admit that for Chantry Trials, I also had to ask Hadi for help because Hadi beat it very quickly, and I was like, I don't understand this last puzzle. Can you please tell me how to pass it? So yeah, I couldn't be Tremere. I didn't pass the test. But I recommend everyone to try.
Brand.
On brand, yeah. I recommend everyone to try to actually test out if you would be a good Tremere or not. There were a lot of games that's really stood out for us. A lot of games that we enjoyed. We could talk about it forever. We are going to definitely mention more of the games in the news post, and also keep mentioning them on our social media, because these games are not going anywhere. They're going to exist on itch as long as developers want to, and we encourage everyone, if you want to give the games more accessibility features, translations, more bug fixes, feel free to update them on itch. And yeah, we will be still promoting the games from the Jam in our social media to make sure that they get as much eyes on them as possible.
And I'm really here to say the really annoying thing, which is this isn't the end of this.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to say, like, it would be very anticlimactic if we just ended it like, yeah, these are the winners. Bye. We're not going to do that. No. We're going to say something more.
No, we're definitely looking at what more we can do here, where we have a lot going on here, and we will be back to talk more about some new initiatives we want to try here.
Yeah.
We're not far from being able to talk publicly about that, but I can't imagine this is the last Vamp Jam, the last World of Darkness Jam.
Absolutely.
This was really amazing, and we definitely want more of this.
Yeah.
And we're going to find ways to support this as well.
Exactly. We are, very much investing a lot of our time in order to help supporting user-generated content more. We expanded Darkpack last year more to include more content, like Discord bots, for example, so people could actually make more content legally, fully under the rights and IP of World of Darkness. So Darkpack has been expanded already, and then we are definitely looking about how we can expand things even more to include more user-generated content and more awesome creativity from our audience.
I'd love to come back and talk about it very soon.
Very soon. I really hope
You
so.
have to invite me. This is your domain.
Absolutely. I am officially inviting you for the next time when that happens and to talk more about this because we will have some news to deliver. But as for now, we can only tell you to stay tuned to more news about how we want to support this kind of content. All right, we are going to slowly move to Vamily Spotlight. Thank you so much, Sean, for joining me today. I really hope that no one is going to be very mad at you for picking these results because we all know this is your responsibility.
Oh, okay. So it was democracy until you have to take responsibility for it.
You are the official ruler of the world of
okay.
darkness, so of course it's your responsibility. My hands are clean. It's all Sean.
All right, I will take my bloodied hands
Mhm.
and walk away.
Thank you so much, Sean, for joining us, and thank you for allowing us to do cool stuff like that. Because doing community stuff for World of Darkness wouldn't happen without the support of this guy and all the other folks working with us with World of Darkness. So
And the people who
thanks.
actually do it.
And the people who actually do it, of course, but initially, of course, it comes from you folks. So thank you so much for supporting us and the community in doing all the cool stuff.
Let's do more.
Let's do more. All right. Thank you, Sean. See you later. And I am going to move a little bit here, I guess. There we go. I'm here. And I'm going to join, in a second, join my dear Hari. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you as well. It's great to have you here. Let's start very quickly from summing up the Vampire Gem from your perspective. What were your favorite games?
Two of my favorite games was Heartless Lullaby and Waning Crescent, which was so amazing to see them in the top 3 list. And I'd have to say, to round that out, would be The Prince of Nothing and Chantry Trials were the other 2 of my favorites.
I am absolutely in love with your taste because yes, but also of course Praxis was also on the top of my list and some other games as well. But I feel like from the ones that didn't land on the podium, definitely Chantry Trails and Prince of Nothing deserve a lot of recognition.
Mm-hmm. I would say Praxis would be 5th on my list.
5th on your list, I see. What do you feel in general after Vampire Gem? What was your takings from it?
I was so blown away by the talent. I mean, every week I'm blown away by the talent of the Vamily, just doing Vamily Spotlight every week and seeing so many people get together in 30 days and make such amazing games, which I couldn't even begin to do. Mm-hmm. Totally blown away, totally astonished, totally honored to be able to play these games and, judge these games for the Game Jam.
Of course, I mean, of course, it was a lot of work for us to go through all of these games, but at least from my perspective, I didn't feel at all like it was some burden or very heavy responsibility on us. I think it was one of the most fun parts of our job, really, to be able to play these games and to check out what community is doing, because it's ultimately so inspiring to know that there's so much talent among us in the family.
It was definitely the most fun thing you've asked me to do, yeah, for sure.
I'm very happy that I could give you some fun stuff to do. But speaking of fun stuff to do, we have some things to go over from the community spotlight from last week. Mm-hmm. Going from the top left, what do we have here?
Oh, I thought you would enjoy this. It is a Nosferatu on Valentine's Day, since Valentine's Day is coming up. And it's from the Tumblr user is Tara's Love Shack of Good Clean Fandom, which is an amazing name for a Tumblr blog.
I love that.
It says, "I just give you a little love bite, Valentine."
Wow.
And of course, pointed ears, so my kind of Nosferatu.
I was actually thinking, this could easily be Gangrel with the Bane on.
Yeah, the cat, yeah.
Yeah, so you got some bestial failure going on, some master critical going on, and suddenly you have animal features, and this is your little cat stuff going on.
See, here's how our brains are totally different. In my head, I'm like, oh, this is a Nosferatu who can do flesh crafting, who has vicissitude, and made themselves, maybe their name is Kitty, made themselves more cat-like.
I wonder, because that's interesting. I was on the there's a lot of theories on how vicissitude can or cannot work on Nosferatu, and I feel like of course it cannot make them magically beautiful. I definitely think they could alter themselves possibly with the usage of it. Still,
I feel they could. Of course, they're static creatures, so when they wake up the next night, it'll be back to the way it was.
That is true. Interesting. Very interesting. And now from Demidaya. Oh, yes. Please tell us about this.
Okay, so so I think to you and Jason, I was like, look at this, immediately when I saw it. I think I bugged you guys about it pretty quickly.
Yes.
Demi Daya, who we've shown on the Vamily Spotlight before, has done these charcoal sketches of different characters in LA by Night. And they actually had an art exhibition yesterday in Russia. And I was so blown away by what they did, and to have the World of Darkness and LA by Night featured in an art exhibition is so cool. It's just it's just the coolest thing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I love that letter that she added to the to the announcement, and you actually translated the letter to me because you're amazing, and you can you know languages. Can you tell us
I
more?
only know 4. I only know 4.
Only.
4.
Can you tell us more about the contents of the letter?
Yeah, if I can start on the left here, with where there's a close up of all of, because you can't really see except for like sort of Jason and Cynthia and Erica sort of in the picture. This is all of them featured, and up above in the description up here, it just says. I'm really still learning the Cyrillic alphabet. It says "Long nights to you, kindred." It just so happened that the last episode of LA by Night fell on the my 20th making of these portraits, and I'm very happy to share this with you in a collage.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah. And the announcement here is very long. It's sort of an ode to the World of Darkness. Do you want me to read it?
You can just tell us.
Translate it?
Yeah, you feel free to tell us, like more or less what the author has written.
Okay, well, they wrote something very poignant and insightful and nice, and it's talking about what the World of Darkness is. That it's a hidden world, and that it's a grotesque mirror in which reality is reflected, and it depends on you, your determination, and how much you want to see yourself in the darkness. It's very much like Nietzsche, the more you look into the abyss looks back at you. It's just wonderfully insightful.
Yeah.
And then it talks about how, what Vampire the Masquerade is, what the World of Darkness is, and that all of these portraits are inspired by the live action role-playing game LA by Night.
That's amazing. I really wonder how many people, or what people actually thought when they entered it without knowing Vampire the Masquerade at all. Because it must have been a really amazing experience, like a look into this whole world and the fandom that's, you're not, like sometimes you go around the internet, for example, and you start to find people being super passionate about something, and you just want to get to know more because of that. And I feel like I would definitely have a moment like this if I entered an exhibition like this.
Absolutely.
This is amazing. Huge kudos to the author for organizing this and for all of these amazing sketches shared. Because the art.
Okay, it was in Ufa. Sorry, I couldn't actually remember where it was, but I see it's actually listed up there. It's Ufa.
Ufa. I see. Yeah. That's amazing. I love this. Congratulations to Demidaya for your exhibition. It must have felt amazing, and I would love to be there, actually.
Maybe I was just like, oh, if I could teleport.
Yes, if I could teleport.
Why aren't I a mage?
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go to the right for Yunar Arts. Yunar Arts.
I very much thought you would like this one. This is actually, if you read the description, the artist didn't really know anything about Vampire the Masquerade and decided to pick up the game Night Road and learned about Vampire the Masquerade through Night Road, which I love. I love people picking up choice of games and learning about the World of Darkness through it.
This is so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, and we didn't expect that this would happen for so many people, but I literally go online to search for some fan art and some insights about Vampire the Masquerade from time to time, and very often I see people who came to VTM through Night Road, and that's, I think, an amazing journey, because Night Road really gives you like a chronicle experience without actually playing a chronicle. So I think it's a very good start, and to see people invited into this world through the work of Kyle Marquis is just awesome. Love that.
Hmm.
And I love the
Plus,
hair.
plus he's super cute, right?
Yeah, so good. I love the character. I love the hair. The grading is
Hmm.
just super awesome. Okay, and now for Kevin, the radio guy.
This is also for you.
I showed
I think
him.
you. I think you should read it.
Okay, I showed you my awards. Please respond. VTMPC Bartholomew. Bartholomew.
Bartholomew.
Bartholomew. There we go. Showing off at his new home. They have been sponsored by the ministry recently and went into spending spree. Well, not really. Obviously, the
Only the
necessity is
necessities like a house.
like a house. I love that.
Yep. So they're a Tremere who is sponsored by the ministry, and I don't know. I've never seen a Tremere in that outfit before, and I love the duck or the goose.
I zoomed at the cup because if I got money from the ministry, I would definitely go and buy this mug first thing. Like I don't need anything else. I just need this bathrobe and I need this mug. Nothing else. So good. I mean, also they do look like they have a little bit of an old school phone, so they could just buy themselves something nicer.
Is that how old am I? Is that old school?
Isn't it? Like it looks like
I don't know.
It's a flip.
Is this old school?
No, it doesn't look like a smartphone. Or maybe it does, but like an older one. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. All the phones are so rectangular right now and they have no colors and no like fancy stuff. They're just like they're just so simple.
I've had this phone for like 6 years or something. I wouldn't know.
Oh, that's the mean goose. It's not the duck, it's the goose. Of course.
Oh,
it's
is that the angry goose?
I think it's the goose from the Goose Game.
Or even better.
If it's not the goose from the Goose Game, it should be. All right.
I mean, to be fair, it looks like a generic goose.
It does look like a generic goose.
All goose look like that.
But all goose are evil also, so that's...
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
Do I see a TikTok in here?
Yes, from Druid by Night, who I think you, me, and Jason have been really enjoying their TikToks recently.
All right, let me check it out. Boop. Nice. So that's I think we get the audio coming in the second half.
You're still new to this.
Oh yeah, because it's Teresa's voice. That's so good.
Oh, was the audio not coming in?
Yeah, the audio wasn't coming in. Let me play it again very quickly. Let me play it.
Forgot. You're still new to this. Allow me to break you in. Yes, ghosts exist. Werewolves, mummies, and I'd expect a whole lot of other things I've never seen share the night with us.
Amazing. I love that. So good. And also the cosplay is just on point. It's perfect. It's exactly what Therese would look like and move like. So that's so good.
I really recommend people follow Druid by Night. They do so much Therese and Jeanette cosplay. It's always so good.
Yes. Amazing. Druid by Night. I will go and make sure to watch more Therese and more Jeanette because it's always good. And now from...
Yes. Okay. So another language I speak is German.
Okay.
So I saw this on Instagram, and this is a really big deal because, as I'm sure I've told you, Germany has been in different stages of lockdown since 2020.
Yeah.
And it's been, really hard doing sort of any kind of fun thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Nächtliches Theater.
Mm-hmm.
They're which means nightly theater. They're a LARP club in Nuremberg.
Mm-hmm.
And they're running a game called Protektorat or Protectorate, which is sort of like a principality or municipality.
I see.
And it says, good night. The February game is going to happen. As expected, there's going to be a lot of hygiene protocols.
Mm-hmm.
And the plot won't be anything too fantastic, but the important thing is we can finally have a place to play again, and we're very excited.
That's so nice, and it
is.
And I cannot wait for more like LARPing or half LARPing even experiences coming on this year with more people going out and actually meeting with each other, because we are very very slowly going back in that phase, and I really hope that everyone's going to stay safe and stay sane and make sure that you are you're enjoying your LARPs to the maximum, because we haven't had that for a while.
No, especially here in Germany. I was so surprised to see this. I'm like, oh, I have to put this
Yes.
on the Vamily Spotlight.
Amazing. I love the cosplay too. It's so good, and
It's very Smithy.
it's very Smithy, but
Mhm.
yeah, the face and everything is just so good. I love it. All right. Thank you so much, by the way, Hadi, for your translations and for including
course.
non-English content as well, because it's always awesome to see more things from people all around the world.
I could do German, Russian, and Spanish, but after that,
Well,
can't help you.
I can help with Polish, and I can slowly start to help with Swedish, but I'm still learning.
Good.
So we'll see.
Between the two of us, we're unstoppable.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Storytellers Vault Other. Let's start with, oh yes, huge congratulations in here. But let me let you introduce Vancouver by Night and their recent success.
Right. So the TTRPG, I'm not sure if it's TTRPG IFs Awards, if that's how you pronounce that correctly. They had announced their winners recently, and Vancouver by Night, who is very popular and very well known in the family, in the community, had 2 of their players win an award, and that's for the most feels, which is such a great category.
Most feels. I would love, to win a category called most feels. I think it's like such a good testimony for a role player to win the most feels. So that's amazing. Congratulations. I think it's amazing. And yeah, definitely go watch Vancouver by Night. Amazing role players and a lot of really good content. Amazing guests as well. They even had Matthew Mercer joining them at some point to play Beckett.
For a charity,
Yeah.
they did, yeah. And they do a lot of stuff on the Vancouver by Night channel, a lot of different games and stuff.
Yes, and it's an ongoing campaign and chronicle, which is happening, I believe, if not every single week, then even more often. I think it's every week, because I know that the activity there there's a lot of content going on. So
It's at least every week.
yeah, so I really recommend to check it out. All right, and we have a Storyteller's Vault title that was just released.
Yes. Okay. So this is a something I think that a lot of people in the family would want if they wanted to play Sabbat, would be a Sabbat player's guide for V5, and it was made by Khaldun
Khalil, yeah,
Khaldun Khalil, thank you, who has contributed, I believe, to not just the Sabbat book, but to many books. I'm correct about that.
Yes,
right?
he's, for example, a contributor to the upcoming Second Inquisition book, the official title. So we do have a lot of people that actually worked with us or work with us in some manner that do release their own Storyteller's Vault supplements, and this is one of them. So basically, hey, let's write even more Vampire the Masquerade content, which we can just, put on the Storyteller's Vault and get a little bit more of their personal perspective as writers on particular subjects. So that's one of them. And what does this one include?
This one includes a lot. It's 135 pages, which is a very hefty amount.
Mm-hmm.
Includes 20 new discipline powers, 18 lore sheets, how to run a Sabbat. I'm having so tongue-tied. Sabbat pack with 12 pack types.
Yeah.
And it has, different paths of enlightenment, return of House Goratrix. And this interests me only in the sense where in my chronicle, I actually have someone playing a Sabbat character, and it was we worked together to sort of figure out the character. But having something like this would have made things a lot more streamlined.
Yeah, exactly. Like V5 as a system is not really made for the playable Sabbat characters, because ultimately the humanity system is the very basis of how V5 functions from the get-go. But there are a lot of different takes on how Sabbat could be played on Storyteller's Vault. So if you want to get deeper into that sort of a gameplay and start to actually think how it would be to play a different takes on Sabbat, I think there are plenty of supplements available already on STV. This is one of them, and yeah, it has very good writers behind it, so I really recommend to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I really like that they included a very detailed safe play section for the Sabbat, which I think is, especially when you tackle themes this dark, it's very important. So, yeah.
I also believe a lot of the art was done by Grim Ventures as well.
Yes, which also worked on the official Vampire the Masquerade products. And you can, for example, the actual cover for Sabbat's book, the V5 Sabbat book is made by Mark Kelly, the Grim Ventures. So yeah, all right, let's go to Svart 616. That's awesome.
You missed one.
I did miss one. Where? Oh, below, of course, yes. From Thea.
Yeah, and of course I don't speak Swedish, but Dådyrdotter would be how you'd sort of say it in German.
It's Dådyrdotter, I think.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
Um,
I see
they
someone from my studio who's actually Swedish giving me a thumbs up. Yay! I said it right.
Good.
Nice.
I'll
Okay.
do the German and you do the Swedish, and we'll be unstoppable.
Perfect.
So they made wallpapers for all the different clans.
That's amazing.
And so I put up Ministry and La Sombra, which we know those are our favorite clans, respectively.
Of course, the ministry always has something to offer. This often cult-like clan recruits those able to employ temptation as a weapon. Oh, false. They embrace those with the will and means to sway. No, that's not true. Entrap and ultimately liberate their targets. Yes, that's true. From whatever they seek, the victims' possessions, allegiance, or even faith. To the serpents, everything has a price.
Everything has a price.
Very low
I
price.
mean,
There's discounts.
But Martina, my favorite part of this, if you look at the symbol, it's snake texture.
It is. I love it. This is so cool. I really like the all the graphic details in there, and I love how the texture plays with the background. It's really, really nice.
And these are oops, I just want to copy it. These are completely free. And so they're not on the Storyteller Vault. I will reach out to them to encourage them to put that on there.
Yeah.
But I will. I can't. It won't let me.
Oh no! You can.
It won't. It didn't copy the link. But I'll definitely put it in the YouTube video when it goes up.
Yep.
I definitely recommend everyone to check these out.
We put it in the description of the YouTube video, and you can also find it on Discord. So,
Yes.
yeah, awesome. And now we're going to one of our favorite sections every week, LA by Night, the never-ending stream of content from the fans of our favorite chronicle. Svart with the nastier depiction of Jasper. Oh, I love that.
It's it's like it reminds me there's a few points of time in the chronicle where Jasper gets set on fire, and it it reminds me of maybe the aftermath of that, a little melty.
Yes. No, I really like, because of course whenever we imagine Jasper, we imagine Alexander, and Alexander is of course a very handsome man. So it's of course sometimes a very different take to imagine him as an actually repulsive Nosferatu. And I feel like there are moments in the chronicle where he does this like really creepy like voices when he screams, for example, when he shows his monstrous nature, and he shows like a bit of how that repulsive Nosferatu could look like. But the artists are taking this to the next level with some deformations of the face and how he could possibly look like if the Nosferatu Bane was in full glory. And
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's and it's beautiful in a grotesque kind of a way.
Yes, like no matter how grotesque Nosferatu are, they're always going to find their fans, as we know it.
Yep.
And speaking of the fans of the Nosferatu, we have this really nice silhouette portrait of Jasper and Eva.
Yeah, speaking of going from like full features to no features, this is from Black Hermit Cat on Tumblr. And I just thought this was really sweet and really nice.
It is, and it shows how little artistic, like little details you have to put into a work to actually deliver the artistic message, which is just of this closeness, love, and sweetness in between the two characters. Which
I know it's still too soon for me to talk about it.
Too soon. Okay, let's move on to Lucy.
Lucy, who we featured quite a few times on Vamily Spotlight. And they are pretty proficient in drawing Suzanne and Vannevar from LA by Night. And this is sort of a portrait piece or collage of all the different times we've seen Suzanne in LA by Night.
This is really awesome. And I feel like it's one of very good things that for us artists, and when we draw, it's always great to put something on the second screen and just watch something that you don't have to always have to have your eyes on, and actual plays are perfect for that. So you can just draw a lot and focus on your drawing, and then have actual play playing in your ears, and sometimes look at the screen. And because of that, LA by Night is a very good source of inspiration for sketching, for example. So you can just watch it and then sketch on the other screen and start to train different poses or different facial expressions. And I think they really pull it off awesomely in here. It really shows.
I'll have to take your word for it. I couldn't draw a stick figure if you asked me to.
No, I did use Elevenite as a background for my paintings a lot. I've been doing a lot of drawing while doing this. So it's I think it's awesome to watch actual plays and to draw at the same time. All right, that was a really awesome sum up for this week. Thank you so much, Hattie.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will be slowly wrapping up. Today we'll be wrapping up our Vamily Spotlight as well as Vampire Gem. Of course, please tune into our social media and website where we're going to also announce the winners again, and we're going to put all of the news up. So yeah, keep your eye on this, and we're going to tune in the future about the continuous support of user-generated content, because we do have plans. We cannot share just yet, but there are very cool plans in the works. Thank you so much, everyone, and yeah, see you next week.